Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ohio Business Matchmaker webinar training series. If you can believe it, we are already just 2 weeks away from the Ohio Business Matchmaker. My name's Deja Johnson. I'm the program specialist for the Ohio Apex Accelerator. I'll be your host for today's session. Today, we'll be discussing how to get on a GSA schedule and doing business with the GSA. We have a lot of great information for you today and some experts to talk to you about all things GSA. They'll be introduced here in just a few moments. First, I want to give you just some quick housekeeping and introductory notes, if you will. For those of you who might be new to our program, the Ohio Business Matchmaker is a vital event that's designed to connect Ohio businesses with government agencies and prime contractors. The goal is to foster opportunities for growth and collaboration. We provide training, networking events, and direct access to procurement opportunities that all in the name of helping you succeed in the very competitive landscape of government contracting. Today's training is going to provide you with some valuable insight and some effective strategies to engage with buyers and lenders, especially as we prepare for the Ohio Business Matchmaker taking place on April 22nd and 23rd. Just a little bit of housekeeping here. If you have any questions today, please do not hesitate to utilize the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. And your panelists today, as well as myself, will be able to drop information in the chat box so that you can download or access any particular resources that we want to share out with you here today. We'll try to answer a few questions throughout today's session, but we'll certainly have time at the end of our presentations today to get your questions answered. With that, I would like to hand it over to my colleague from the Small Business Administration Columbus office, Ms. Shonda Harris.
Thank you so much, Deja. Good morning, everyone. As Deja said, my name is Shonda Harris, and I'm a business opportunity specialist with the Columbus Small Business Administration. And we are grateful that you are joining us this morning. And we always look forward to encouraging small businesses like you, if you're looking to do business with the government, if this is your first time, if you're new to this, you have an opportunity to find out how to do business today with a federal agency. And then if you're looking to attend the Ohio Business Matchmaker, maybe you're not ready to start doing business with a federal agency, but maybe a state or a city or a local government. So we'll also have state and local government agencies at the matchmaker as well. But we really want to engage small businesses that are looking to grow and expand, and government is a great way to do that. So with that, as Deja said, if you do have questions, actually for our first presenter, we're going to ask, you can put them in the chat or the Q&A section, and then after our first presenter, we're going to address those questions at the end, but go ahead and put them in the chat. Today's session is being recorded, so I know we get a lot of questions because the presentations are really great. So you'll be able to access it at the a couple of days at the end. We'll post that on the Matchmaker website, as well as the slides. So today we do have Miss Kimberly Hutchinson, who serves as the Small Business Specialist with the OSDBU office in Region 5 at General Services Administration, better known as GSA. So I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Kimberly. Kimberly, you can take it away.
Thank you so much, Shonda. And good morning to everyone. And thank you for taking time to be with us today. As Shonda shared, my name is Kimberly Hutchinson, and I am a small business specialist for GSA Great Lakes Region 5 Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, commonly referred to as OSDBU. Now, many of you also may know my very knowledgeable colleague, Malithia Green, or Maya, who unfortunately is not able to join us today. Now, our office supports small businesses in the states of Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, and Wisconsin. So, what I'm going to do now is share my screen so I can jump right into my presentation. So, give me a moment to share my screen, please, and thank you for your patience.
While you're doing that, Kimberly, I will plug just one last thing about the Ohio Business Matchmaker. We are still accepting registrations rather, for suppliers for about another week. I believe that registration portal is going to close on April 15th. So if you haven't already, please use the link in the chat to get registered for the Ohio Business Matchmaker.
Okay, so I believe my screen is being shared. Let me pull up my presentation. It's moving slow, and that's why I'm going to take myself off camera. Perhaps it'll give me a little bit more speed. Go. Zoom and share my screen. Now let's pull up my presentation right here. Here we go. Okay, are you guys able to see my presentation?
Yes, it looks good.
Very good. Thank you so much. Okay, so before I get started, this is we're mandated to say this statement. I like to share a brief note. The information I'm providing today reflects the most current guidance available. However, policies, regulations, and procedures may change over time. To ensure you have the latest details, we encourage you to stay informed through official GSA and government channels. Our goal is to provide you with the most accurate information as of today, and we appreciate your understanding as updates arise. Now, here's my agenda for today. I'm going to start off with an introduction to the agency, talking about OSTABU, who we are and what we do, followed by an overview of GSA's two main business lines, PBS and FAST. I'll review what GSA buys and does not buy and show you who are GSA's customers. Then I'll briefly talk about GSA e-library system, how to identify subcontracting opportunities, and other paths to selling to the government. I will provide an overview of GSA e-tools, including SAM.gov, the GSA forecast tool, the decommissioning of FPDS into SAM.gov, Schedule Sales Query Plus, and USspending.gov. I'll wrap up with information about the various GSA Interact communities and where to sign up to receive FAR updates and news. Then I will end with a quick recap. So, GSA is a federal civilian agency and one of the federal government's largest buyers, contracting billions of dollars in products and services for civilian agencies and DoD customers worldwide. As shown in this slide, our mission is to deliver value and savings in real estate, acquisition, technology, and mission support services. Our core functions include in real estate, constructing, managing, and preserving government buildings, as well as leasing commercial real estate. In acquisition, providing cost effective, high quality products for commercial vendors, including tools, equipment, and non tactical vehicles for the U.S. military and disaster recovery services for state and local governments. In technology and operations, promoting management best practices and delivering smart, secure, and affordable technology solutions. And in sustainability, leading in sustainable building design, construction, and maintenance. We are committed to building a 21st century government by strategically integrating space, people, and technology to reduce real estate costs and increase workplace efficiencies. To learn more about GSA's mission, policies, budget, and performance, go to gsa.gov. Now, the federal government is mandated to provide an array of programs and services specifically for small businesses. At GSA, These efforts are coordinated and overseen by OSDBU. Our office oversees small business programs and provides counseling on how to navigate doing business with GSA. We work closely with the acquisition workforce to promote increased access to nationwide procurement opportunities, monitor and implement small business policies, and manage various programs mandated by law. GSA's OSTABU provides resources that connect businesses to in-person and online training, counseling, and procurement opportunities. For your awareness, any federal entity seeking to acquire products or services is required to have a similar OSTABU office to advocate for small business. The most important thing I want you to take away from this slide is that GSA OSDBU should be your first point of contact for information on doing business with the agency, competing for federal contracts, or addressing any small business questions and concerns. GSA is organized into 11 regions that provide centralized procurement of products, services, and facilities for federal offices worldwide. The most important takeaway from this slide is that there are small business specialists located in each region. If you are looking to do business outside of Region 5, you can visit gsa.gov to find a small business specialist in the specific geographical area where you wish to work. Now, here's the contact information to reach me and Maya. To learn more about GSA Region 5 and the Great Lakes Region 5 OSDBU, please visit our regional small business site. This slide here, it shows how GSA is organized, showing the administrator at the top with the chief of staff and deputy reporting below. Under them are three groups: services, independent offices, and staff offices. Services include the Federal Acquisition Service and Public Building Service. Independent offices include the Inspector General and Civilian Board of Contract Appeals. To learn more about our leadership of PBS, FAST, OGP, and our staff in independent offices, visit the GSA Leadership Directory link shown on this slide. Okay, so now GSA is made of two components which offer contract opportunities. We have our public building services, also known as PBS, and our federal acquisition service, also known as FAST. PBS manages one of the nation's largest and most diverse real estate portfolios, spanning the 50 states, 5 territories, and the District of Columbia. As the largest federal landlord in the United States, PBS owns and leases approximately 8,500 assets, totaling nearly 360 million square feet. This inventory includes 540 historic buildings listed or eligible for listing in the National Register of Historic Places. PBS provides high quality real estate and workplace solutions, including design, construction, leasing, and disposal of surplus property for 50 federal departments and agencies. As leaders in green, building design, and sustainable operations, we encourage small businesses offering services in construction, maintenance, building operations, or leasing to visit the GSA PBS website on this slide for more information. FAST provides government agencies with the products, services, and solutions necessary to achieve their mission while cutting costs and promoting efficiency. By collaborating with suppliers and creating streamlined acquisition contracts, FAST ensures compliance with federal laws and helps agencies maximize every dollar spent. One takeaway from this slide regarding FAST is that although the GSA FAST manages the GSA Multiple Award Schedule contract, or MAS, and other contracting vehicles, the agency does not buy every product or service offered through these contract vehicles. While our next speaker will cover the MAS program in more detail, please note that each vendor is responsible for determining if the contract is a suitable fit for their business. Now, currently, a mass solicitation is posted on sam.gov if you are interested in becoming an industry partner and help GSA supply federal agencies with high quality products. To assist you, the mass roadmap is available to guide you through the process of becoming a GSA mass contractor. For your convenience, I have included a link to the mass solicitation on this slide. To learn more about FAST, please visit the GSA FAST website shown on this slide. And I just like to say that I checked and all of the links that are embedded within this presentation should be live. Okay? So, here's a short list of products and services GSA procures through PBS and FAST. This is not a comprehensive list or in any order. GSA contract opportunities are typically advertised on the SAM.gov website. You can also learn about upcoming GSA procurement opportunities by reviewing our agency procurement forecast on the acquisitiongateway.gov website. On this slide, I don't want you to miss that through our FAST service, GSA not only carry out the multiple award schedule, where federal, state, local, tribal governments, and other eligible buyers get commercial product services and other solutions that get good prices. FAST also has a fleet vehicle sale and auctions off real estate, um, furniture, computers, and much more. And the reason I'm sharing this information about the GSA auctions of with their vehicles and other uh, items is because I don't think a lot of people know that GSA has auctions. And as a small business, if you're, new and you need furniture or other types of equipment, I encourage you to, visit the our GSA auctions website. And also for the public, GSA is responsible for auctioning off sales of vehicles. So if anyone is interested in, vehicle auctions for the federal government, I put two links under the federal acquisition side of this slide, the two links at the bottom. They will take you to the auctions for the furniture, computers, and more. And also there's a link for the auctions for the fleet. Okay. So here on this slide shows a short list of products and services GSA does not buy. GSA does not direct buy building and construction materials or products. These materials are incorporated into service contracts. GSA regions do not often purchase information technology or computer equipment. These items and IT services are purchased by our national office on an enterprise-wide basis. We're just not funded for these type of items in the region, to purchase these items in the region. And finally, while the Great Lakes Region 5 does not buy broker services, we compete for orders against the national broker contract that is contracted by the National GSA office in Washington, D.C. Now, um, since I just mentioned the GSA National Broker contract on the previous side, I just, included this slide uh, just in case anyone is interested in more information about GSA leasing opportunities. So these are some websites. These are the next codes if you're searching on sam.gov for any upcoming leasing opportunities. You see the three next codes that our contracting folks have recommended that you search that site with. So you can, review this, you know, um, slide at your convenience. So, who are GSA's customers? GSA customers are U.S. federal agencies, including executive agencies, tribal and international organizations, independent boards, commissions, and federal employees who use GSA for procurement, workspace, and technology services. Additionally, state and local governments, tribal organizations, and authorized non governmental organizations can purchase through GSA through special programs like our cooperative purchasing for technology and the disaster purchasing program for disaster recovery products and equipment. Now, this slide illustrates how GSA differs from other federal agencies. Understanding these distinctions is critical because the U.S. government is a collection of departments with unique missions, budgets, and purchasing needs. By recognizing these differences, you can better target the right buyers and align your products or services with an agency's specific goals, because every agency is not going to buy, what you offer or sell. So whether it is a national defense for the Department of Defense or scientific research for the Department of Energy, this alignment makes your proposals more competitive and increases your chances of winning contracts. Tailoring your marketing and proposal efforts to the unique needs of each agency allows you to move from generic bidding to strategic, successful contracting. Now, keep in mind, in FAST, one of the largest ways, because remember, I said it in my previous slide, the FAST manages the GSA multiple award schedule, the OASIS contract, and other contracting vehicles. So please keep in mind in FAST, one of the largest ways we reach our customers is through our multiple award schedule and other IDIQ contracts. This is really what makes GSA so special and what sets us apart from other federal agencies. So whether it's in PBS or FAST, GSA's mission is to ensure that agencies can focus on their mission. Excuse me. GSA offers a suite of integrated e-tools to make the acquisition process more efficient, helping small businesses gain an advantage in achieving acquisition efficiency. The next couple of slides will highlight a variety of e-tools you can use to quickly and easily perform market research, respond to requests for quotes, gain knowledge about accessing subcontracting opportunities, and more. So I'll just start with GSA eLibrary. GSA eLibrary is the official online repository for GSA in VA Federal Supply Schedule Contract Award information. Now, the GSA MAS and the VA Federal Supply Schedule, they're both they're both they're both schedules contract, but GSA delegated like pharmaceuticals, medical, healthcare. They delegated that to the VA under the federal supply schedule to handle those type of capabilities. So in GSA, you can find information about the GSA and VA federal supply schedule contract award information, serving as a primary research tool for federal buyers and vendors. It provides access to contractor information, contract periods, contractor price lists, and technology contracts, offering detailed information on labor categories, services, and products, helping users identify vendors, analyze competitors, and verify contractor socioeconomic status. Small businesses can use GSA eLibrary to search for specific products or services to determine if their next code is being offered through the GSA MAS contract, or to understand market offerings and identify competitive, fair, and reasonable pricing. As noted on this slide, you can search numerous ways by using the search box, enabling search by schedule or special item number or SIN. Now, the schedules, uh, the MAS contract, it uses SIN numbers. Those are equivalent to your next code numbers. So, and in eLibrary, you can search by SIN to identify vendors for specific complex requirements. Also, you can view the send categories by selecting the quick search on the upper right corner. This will provide a drop down in each of the main categories because like the multiple award schedule contract is one solicitation and it has 12 large categories. So your sin would fall within one of those 12 categories within the multiple award schedule solicitation. Okay. So let's go here to the next slide. This slide shows you once you identify the category you fall within the mass contract, you will be able to find a complete list of contractors and details. This can be used as market research or to reach out to contractors for potential subcontracting opportunities. The e-library is a great tool for all your GSA schedule questions in market. So as you see, like for instance, under the category for promotional and outdoor items. There are currently on this screen 60 contractors. They currently have they're on a GSA multiple award schedule. You see all of the contractors' name. You see, I mentioned earlier, like some of these contractors, they have the disaster recovery program associated with their contract, meaning if there's a disaster that you have to sign up. Like in sam.gov, there's a disaster recovery registry. So once your like disaster recovery is active, then federal agencies can buy, eligible disaster recovery products or equipment off of your scheduled contractor. You see it has the socioeconomic, status of these contractors. There's a column. Their terms and conditions are uploaded up on GSA Advantage. They have their price list and probably pictures of their products and different things like that. So this is just a great market research tool if you're new to, looking to see if your item is a good fit for, the schedules program. You can do your market research in GSA eLibrary. So in short, the most important things I want you to remember about GSA eLibrary are first, you can use this tool to find contract details of current schedule holders for market research. And two, you can use this tool to identify current schedule contract holders for possible subcontractor work. So if you look in that column of the socioeconomic, um, if there's any if there's an O, meaning that's a other than small business, then you can reach out to that, contractor and speak to their person within their company who is managing their government subcontracting plans and talk to them, let them know you found their information on the GSA e-library and speak to them about the process of becoming a potential subcontractor with that prime contractor. So all that to say, GSA eLibrary is part of the GSA eTool suite designed to streamline the procurement process, helping both government agencies and contracts make informed decisions. Now, there are multiple ways small businesses can partner with other contractors to maximize their chances to sell to GSA, such as through subcontracting, joint venture, or contracting team arrangements. Subcontracting can be found in the Federal Acquisition Regulation or FAR Part 19, and joint ventures and contracting teaming arrangements are primarily addressed in the FAR within subpart 9.6. Now, GSA offers a nationwide list of large prime contractors who have received federal contracts over 900,000 for products and services or 2 million for construction contracts. These opportunities may have subcontracting opportunities. The GSA Subcontracting Directory is published as an aid to help small businesses seek subcontracting opportunities with GSA prime contractors. Within the GSA Subcontracting Directory, you can filter the opportunities by NEXT codes or the prime contractor headquarters location, or by state where the work is being performed. You do not have to hold a scheduled contract with GSA to be a subcontractor. You may be eligible to be the regional subcontractor for other than small businesses, or even you could be a subcontractor for small businesses that currently has a GSA contract It just all depends. That's why you have to do your market research. The link at the bottom of this slide takes you to information about subcontracting and other partnerships, including accessing the GSA subcontracting directory. Now, other ways to find subcontracting opportunities can be found on the SBA website. For example, the SBA website has a directory of federal government prime contractors with requirements to subcontract to small businesses. You can also use the SBA subnet to search and view posted subcontracting opportunities. SBA subnet helps large prime contractors find subcontractors. So if you have questions about GSA subcontracting directory, please reach out to me or Maya. If you have questions about SBA resources, please reach out to your SBA business opportunity specialist, which is Shonda Harris. Okay, otherwise, we typically encourage the small business to contact their local Apex Accelerator. Um, I got a lot. Okay, here. How's my time? Am I doing good on time? I got about 10 more slides. Okay, so just to close this out, you can also find contractors on sam.gov by searching for contract opportunities or awards using relevant next codes and keywords. Then filter them by active or awarded status to identify companies holding contracts. An upcoming slide, I have a slide that's coming up. It's going to include links to training videos if you want to learn about contract award searching in sam.gov. Another method include the interested vendors list on solicitations, analyzing contract awards data to see who won, and networking and industry events listed in opportunities on sam.gov. And I just wanted, to ask, did you know that if for those of you who already have a mass contract and your contract includes the disaster purchasing program, remember we saw that on the previous screen, that some contractors had the disaster purchasing program included with their mass contract. Just ensure if that applies to you that your company is registered in the disaster response registry within sam.gov. If you can offer disaster or emergency relief supplies or services, and that can be found if you wanted to learn more about that. You can look in FAR Part 4.11 and FAR Subpart 26.2. So once your registration is active in SAM, you will be added to the disaster response registry. Contracting officers will then be able to locate your company through the disaster response registry. And also, if you already have a mass contract and your contract includes the cooperative purchasing program, it allows state, local, and tribal governments to purchase IT, security, and law enforcement products and services offered through your mass contract. So, the cooperative purchasing allows eligible entities to purchase from approved industry partners at any time for any reason using any funds available. So, I just wanted, for you guys who are on the mass contract, that in order to expand your customer base, if you're not already utilizing the cooperative purchasing or disaster purchasing programs, please, do so. Okay. Now, most people interested in government contracting are familiar with the System for Award Management or SAM.gov. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm just talking. I'm just wondering. Okay. So most of you guys are, thank you so much for the thumbs up. Most people interested in SAM.gov contracting are familiar with the System for Award Management or SAM. But for those of you who are not, SAM.gov is an official website of the US government. There is no cost to use SAM.gov. SAM.gov serves as a single government point of entry for federal government procurement opportunities of more than 25,000. Current requirements that we need are posted there. SAM.gov is also used for registering to do business with the U.S. government, listing a comprehensive database of all major government contract opportunities, contract awards, performance reporting, contract data, special notices, pre-solicitation notices, industry days, requests for information and sources, SALT notices, subcontracting opportunities, surplus property sales, foreign business opportunities with the federal government, and more. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on within the SAM.gov website. We strongly encourage small businesses to respond to relevant sources, SALT notices, requests for information, pre-solicitations, and solicitations that we have according to the instructions for each requirement. Our office can answer general questions about the SAM.gov system. But if a company is having issues, for instance, with their SAM registration, we will refer them to the Federal Service Desk at fds.gov for assistance. Okay, so this slide right here, I think at the top, if you can, you'll see it like when you receive my slide deck, it's like the FPDS. Now, that was, and I put this in here because FPDS was designed as a self-service tool for the public. It was a free, real-time, comprehensive, web-based tool that served as an authoritative source for agencies to report contract actions. However, you guys probably know that the FPDS system was decommissioned back in February, and everything was transitioned or is being transitioned into the easy search to SAM.gov. Now, this slide includes helpful resource links to learn more about the transition, including links to training videos about award searching in SAM.gov. When you watch the videos, you will see the contract award search function in SAM.gov allows users to search federal procurement data and to filter by keyword, agency, and legal business name. Results are available to anyone with a SAM.gov account, including contractor agencies and the public. So for you guys who want to, get some really good tips on how to search for contract awards in the SAM.gov site, this slide has some really helpful for links to take you to some videos. Okay. Now, the next 4 slides will cover our forecast tool, which focuses on increasing small business awareness of potential prime contract and subcontracting opportunities. The goal of this tool is to provide a nationwide dashboard of upcoming federal contracting opportunities so vendors can be on the lookout for potential contracting opportunities earlier in the process. Keep in mind, all projected procurements are subject to revision or cancellation. Final decisions on the extent of competition, small business participation, estimated value, or any aspect of the procurement are made if or when a solicitation is posted to SAM.gov. Forecast data is for planning purposes only and is not a commitment by the agency to purchase the products described and or services. With this tool, small businesses can easily search through forecasted contracting data by agency, you see that, by next code or place of performance. For example, if you only want to see things in the Washington metropolitan area, you can filter the forecast to find those forecasted opportunity within that geocode area. Contracting data can also be filtered by project solicitation quarter based on the acquisition strategy. For example, if you're only looking for set-aside opportunities in contract award status, you can filter the forecast for those opportunities. And of course, you can download your resorts to a Microsoft Excel document. In short, the goal of the forecast tool is to help GSA and other federal agencies easily communicate information about upcoming potential contracting opportunities. Okay, so this slide is to show that typically each opportunity record within sam.gov includes a variety of information about the potential opportunity. So you guys have probably seen this before. For example, if you're searching in sam.gov and you pull up an opportunity, you're going to see the opportunity record, which is going to show the acquisition strategy. You see that here. What's the acquisition strategy? I don't know if it's even shown on this record, but it's going to show the acquisition strategy, the requirement strategy, the requirement status, I'm sorry, the award status, the award type, the next code, the estimated contract value, and point of contact if you need to reach out, to someone, about with questions or concerns regarding any planned procurement. Okay. So with this slide, the most important thing I want you to take away is that each federal agency is required to post their forecasted opportunities. We encourage small businesses to review other agency forecasts located at the website shown on this slide. Or you can go to acquisitiongateway.gov or the agency's website to see other opportunities out there. So here's an example of the Fast Schedule Sales Query Plus tool. Now, FAST's Acquisition Oversight Division developed this tool, which can help small businesses by providing valuable market research data, including sales figures, industry trends, and information on small business set-asides, enabling them to make informed decisions and potentially win more contracts. So why is this tool important? Well, here's why. While other GSA tools can help you know what the government is buying, with the SSQ Plus tool, you can see how your company stacks up compared to other vendors on the same schedule, how their sales compare to the competition overall, and how data can be leveraged to improve business practices and take advantage of new opportunities. So, if you want to take a deeper dive into the SSSQ tool, mark your calendars and save the date for April 22nd, 2026, because our very own Albert Garza, our Region 7 small business specialist, will be offering a walkthrough of the system. And I've also posted the flyer in the chat, and Shonda or Deja, they also have that information to share with you guys if needed. Okay? So I'm almost done. Here's a snapshot of the U.S. spending website. This is another tool that can be used for conducting marketing analysis. This is a government source for data on federal grants, contracts, loans, and other financial assistance. This website enables searching of federal awards from FY 2008 to present by state, congressional district, county, and zip code. The site provides tools for examining a broad picture of federal spending obligations by categories, which include budget and object class function. For example, budget refers to the major purpose that the spending serves, such as Social Security, Medicare, and national defense, while object class function refers to the type of item or service purchased by the federal government, such as grants, contracts, and personal compensation and benefits. So let me see. What does this all mean, and why is this information important on usaspending.gov? Well, it's important because, like, for instance, you want to know where your tax money is going. As a small business, you may want to run a report in usaspending.gov to find out if, for instance, there are any grants in the area, like the community or the zip code that your company is located in. You may want to run a report in USA spending to see, what kind of contracts are out there. So it's good information. You can drill it, like I said, down, to your congressional district, to your zip code, to a certain community to find out where the money is, because we all want to know, like, where is the money? Where is the free money? And what is the government spending our taxpayer money on? And you can find all of that information in usspending.gov. Okay? So, um, this slide includes resources for small businesses and external stakeholders. Now, you see on this slide, for instance, the GSA Interact link. It takes it will give you, where you can join different communities. Um, for instance, if you're interested in the multiple award schedule, you can go to the GSA Interact community and you can join the multiple award community. That way you can find out everything that's going on with the multiple award schedule. There's new reporting requirements, there's changes. In every third Thursday of the month, there are training, the people, the program management office who manages the multiple award schedule. They offer like this 1 hour virtual live training every third Thursday in a month. And they talk all about different topics about the multiple award schedule. So I think the third Thursday of April is April 16th. So you guys may want to go to the Interact community and see what communities you may want to join. Okay. So we do encourage you to join the Small Business Interact First community because they provide different trainings for small businesses. And lately, we've been getting a lot of questions about the Oasis Plus contract, and they also have an Interact community as well. There's a link on this slide to acquisition.gov where you can access the Federal Acquisition Regulation, or FAR. Um, and that's very important because the FAR is going through, has been going through this huge overall where they're trying to streamline that particular, um, you know, um, resource. And, you may want to know as a small business, why is the FAR important? The FAR is essential because it serves as the primary uniform rule book for all U.S. executive agencies when purchasing goods and services. The FAR ensures fair, consistent, and transparent procurement processes, mandates best value acquisition, and provides the legal framework for federal contracts, mitigating risk of fraud and mismanagement. For example, the FAR is important for you as a small business um, because it has some relevant parts. And can read and learn about the same things that the contracting officers are using to guide them, with their acquisition strategies and purchasing, products and services. For instance, some FAR parts that may be relevant to small businesses include FAR subpart 8.4, which covers the federal supply schedules. FAR Part 10 talks about how uh, contracting officers perform their market research. FAR Part 12 covers acquisition of commercial products and commercial services. FAR Part 13 covers simplified acquisition procedures. FAR Part 13.2 covers actions at or below the micro purchase threshold, which is under $15,000. So the micro purchase threshold under $15,000, those type of purchases, the federal agencies can purchase off of their government credit card, and they don't have to be uh, posted in sam.gov. Okay, so that's, FAR 13.2 that covers micro purchases. FAR point Part 14 covers sealed bidding. Part 15 covers contracting by negotiation. Part 16 covers the different types of contracts that are used within the federal purchasing. And FAR 19, covers small business programs, just to name a few. So this slide, it also has links to GSA Istanbul on X and LinkedIn. And there's also a link to visit GSA's landing page to find GSA events. And so some good links on this slide. Now, this slide here is a list of events our office has completed and or has planned for FY26. As mentioned, the SSQ Plus slide, we will be offering training on April 22nd. I also want to mention that this is tax season, and we all know there are individuals already targeting small businesses with scams and frauds. We remind small businesses to protect themselves, their family, and their business by being aware of potential scams. I would like to share that the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency provides cyber guidance for small businesses. And their website, oh shoot, I didn't put it on the on the slide, but you can just Google the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency at www.c as in Charlie, I as in Igloo, S as in Sam, A as in Apple.gov if you wanted information about the Cybersecurity Agency. So today's agenda recap. This slide is a recap of what I talked about in my presentation. I started off with the introduction to the agency, talking about Astabu, who we are and what we do, followed by an overview of GSA's two main business lines, PBS and FAST. I reviewed what GSA buys and does not buy and showed you who our customers are. Then I briefly talked about the GSA e-library system, how to identify subcontracting opportunities, and other paths to selling to the government. I provided an overview of GSA e-tools, including SAM.gov, the GSA forecast tool, the decommissioning of FPDS into SAM.gov, Schedule Sales Query Plus, and the USspending.gov site. Finally, I shared information about the various GSA Interact communities and where to sign up to receive FAR updates and news. As I wrap up, I want to remind everyone that the information I share today reflects the most current guidance available. However, policies, regulations, and procedures may evolve over time. To stay informed, we encourage you to check the GSA.gov website and other government channels mentioned here today for the latest updates. Our goal is always to provide you with the most accurate information, and we appreciate your understanding as things continue to develop. For questions on any GSA matters, contact press@gsa.gov. Well, this concludes my presentation. I hope I was able to share something you can take away and find useful. Now I'll turn it back over to Shonda so she can let us know how she would like to proceed. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Such a lot of great information. We do have a couple of questions, and I think we can get through some of those now, and then some of them actually will be answered in the next presentation. So, and I think we do have enough time. But this first question, Musab has a question. Is there any additional registration or any additional registrations that are required for GSA beyond SAM? And do they need any specific certifications to sell through GSA?
Okay, well, thank you so much for that question, first of all. And let me just say that GSA does not have a registration. I mean, like I mentioned, that SAM.gov website, it is the, official website for anyone who's looking to do business throughout the federal marketplace. Okay, so you must be registered in SAM.gov. But GSA does not have a registration process. GSA, like to do business with GSA, you would either have to respond to an opportunity that's posted on the sam.gov website, or for like these pre-existing contract vehicles, such as the multiple award schedule contract or the OASIS contract, you'd have to complete the solicitation and go through that entire process to be approved as a GSA, contract holder. So there's no portals or systems other than the ones that you would have to um, register in. For instance, um, if you're submitting your multiple award schedule solicitation, you have to submit that through the GSA e-offer system. So you may have to create a username and password. Or if you already have a GSA contract, you'd have to have a username and password in order to access that e-buy system. So there's no registration. And regarding certifications, you don't have to have any certifications. Those certifications, as SBA will let you know, they handle all the certifications, but you don't have to have a certification. I mean, the like Hub Zone or veteran owned small business or small disadvantaged business, um, those certifications, if you decide that you want to pursue them, it can help you, like not just with GSA, but with other federal agencies as well, if they're deciding, to set an opportunity aside for, say, services able veteran owned small business. So then that's when your certification would be meaningful. Okay. So you do not have to, be on a GSA schedule. You do not have to, have any small business socioeconomic certifications to do business with GSA. You just have to meet whatever criteria or technical requirements, the scope of work, that requiring
Okay.
is requesting. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then also this person wanted to know on the for the e-library, is the e-library only for viewing awarded contracts, or can it be used for bidding as well? And then also, does GSA procure products and services or only services?
Okay. So first, okay, e-library is only for viewing, for market research purposes to see if your company, is a good fit for the GSA Multiple Award Schedule program, to use it to see who your competitors are, etc. All of the things that I said the e-library is for. So you cannot bid via e-library, is for viewing purposes only. Okay, where you could access a lot of different types of information regarding who currently has a GSA contract. Okay. So all of the vendors who are currently listed within the GSA e-library have a contract with the federal government. Okay. So uh, bidding opportunities, sam.gov, other agencies may use other bidding platforms out there, but sam.gov is typically what GSA uses for bidding purposes. And as far as products and services, what was the question regarding that again?
Does GSA procure both products and services, or is it just services?
Okay, now GSA, the agency itself, it mainly contracts out for services. And those services are usually, because most of our contract opportunities was within GSA. Remember, I said those are two main business line, PBS and FAS. So the majority of our contracting opportunities come from our PBS department. Because remember, I said when I was talking about who GSA is, we are like the largest civilian landlord of the federal government. So a lot of our contracts opportunities are through our PBS, because construction, facilities maintenance, whether it's landscaping, snow, roofing, window washing, janitorial, all of these things, because GSA has this huge portfolio of real estate. Um, GSA is responsible for maintaining courthouses and federal
Mhm.
property and private, real estate under its portfolio. So we need contractors that are going to meet the mission of keeping those properties and facilities safe, clean for the public, for the employees, for the tenants that occupy, that space within those federal properties. So PBS mainly services, like I said, A&E, design and construction, facilities maintenance. I had that whole slide that listed what PBS typically buys. Now, the federal acquisition service, which manages the different types of contracting vehicles, for instance, the multiple award schedule, the OASIS contract, IT GWAX, etc. Now, they manage contract vehicles that other federal agencies can buy through. GSA does not buy everything that's offered through that particular contract, but we can buy like products like during COVID, we brought a lot of like PPE products, equipment, for the offices and different things like that. So GSA does buy products, but GSA mainly has opportunities through our public building services, like, that was on that list. But through the multiple award schedule program, yeah, all type of products. I mean, there are like literally millions. You would just if you can think of it, there is probably a federal agency out there that buys what you want to offer. Okay. It just depends on, like that slide when I said who are our customers. Those customers, they typically and they are increasingly using pre-existing contract vehicles because it's more streamlined, it's more cost efficient, it's just quicker for them to like buy through these pre-existing contract vehicles. So just think of these contract vehicles, especially when you're thinking about the multiple award schedule, like the Amazon of the federal government. Okay, you're pre-negotiated, everything is up there loaded. The federal customers just have to go to that contract vehicle, see all of those vendors who are listed with that next code or within that category that offers those products or services. Because under the OASIS type of contract, a lot of professional services are offered through that type of contract. Okay, so agencies can just go buy from vendors quick, fast, and easy off of these pre-existing contract vehicles. So to answer your questions, yes, the federal government does buy products and services, and with GSA, we do purchase mainly like services to upkeep our federal properties. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Love the analogy of Amazon. They are like the federal Amazon
Mhm.
as far as purchasing goods and services and
Mhm.
having that list out there. The next one I can quickly say, as it relates to an overview of the GSA schedule, that's actually going to be the next presentation that we will be starting here in a few minutes. Renee, as it relates to GSA doing business with MBEs, WBEs, and SBEs, those are state certifications. So this GSA is a federal agency, and so federal agencies deal with companies that have federal certifications. Federal certifications such as woman-owned, WOSB, EDWOSB, veteran-owned, your service-disabled veteran-owned, SDVOSB, VOSB, 8A, and HubZone. So those certifications that you gave are for the state of Ohio, minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, and small business enterprise. And I believe that may be a city, the SBE. So you can work with your Apex Accelerator or your MBAC in order to determine what state agencies utilize and purchase with those set asides. Um, and I'm going to see if we can answer these really quick so that we can get to our next presenter. Um, and maybe if you can just briefly kind of give like a yes or no, and maybe not give a lot of details, Kimberly, with these so we can move on because the questions are coming. And then if needed, we may save it toward the end. But with regard to the new, I think I'm going to save that to the end about the executive order, Renee. Um, Also, how do they find opportunities with the United States Postal Service? Are there opportunities that they can find through GSA for the Postal Service, Kimberly?
No, that's a totally, remember our customers,
Okay.
US Postal Service is a different federal agency. So all agencies should have an OSDBU office similar to GSA. So I would just Google or work with your Apex Accelerator to see if you can get a point of contact at the Postal Service, and then talk to them about doing business with the Postal Service. You can just Google it. If you Google the Postal Service and then Google their OSDBU office, you should be able to get a contact.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
would, as you said, recommend that they work with their local Apex Accelerator in order to find that. Dr. Asia Johnson wants to know, does GSA do business with consulting firms?
Um, it depends on what type of consulting. You'd have to first of all see your next code number to see if there is you fall within the schedules program. So or the or ACES program. So first of all, see if it falls within one of those pre-existing contract vehicles. If not, you just may have to look on SAM.gov to see what type of opportunities are out there. Because remember, GSA is not the end all be all. There are a lot of other agencies out there that may, have a need for the type of capabilities you offer. So, I mean, GSA comes into play only when it's, managing these contract vehicles and getting these vendors, added to these contract vehicles. But we don't buy, all of the services and products offered through those programs. But other agencies may. It depends. We don't know what their mission and what their needs and requirements are. So, yeah, check the SAM.gov website.
Awesome. And Dr. Asia, what I would recommend is you work with your local Apex Accelerator to see if there may be opportunities for your NAICS code as it relates to maybe a GSA schedule and looking for opportunities. Renee, as it relates to certifications, GSA is not necessarily looking for, they're not putting necessarily set asides on GSA schedules. Now, there are as she said, like GWAX, and there are certain larger procurement vehicles that may have a set aside attached to it, like a pool for 8A, woman owned. But I would recommend that you work with your local Apex Accelerator to determine those. Um, Again, Dr. Asia Johnson, I would, and we can have a discussion offline. Speak with your local Apex Accelerator in order to determine, as it relates to the matchmaker and finding opportunities with the different agencies and organizations that will be there. I
Right.
can
And
provide
can
my
I just
information. Go
I'm
ahead.
so sorry, Shonda. But and I also add to Dr. Asia, like remember I said within SAM.gov, you could run all types of reports for contract data because we used to be able to do that in the Federal Procurement Data System portal, but now that's in the SAM.gov. So you can do that historical data, like have there been contracts out there awarded for your next code and which agency. So you can find all of that market research in the SAM.gov data bank.
Right.
Okay.
And I would recommend definitely working with your Apex Accelerator to determine, yeah, I hate that they took that FPDS away because you could plug in your next code to see what agencies, and I'm sure Apex probably can help you to navigate that portion through SAM, but you can determine what agencies are buying what you're selling based on your NAICS codes and start to look up some history. But I would recommend working with them and they can help you to determine that. All right, we are going to transition to our next speaker. And then again, we will still answer some questions at the end after our next speaker, and then we'll go from there. But we have, now that we've heard a little bit about GSA as an agency and what they buy, how they're set up, now we are going to have Jane Stewart, who is the Associate Director of the Ohio Apex Accelerator at Ohio University in the Northeast region of Ohio. And she is going to specifically address how to get on a GSA schedule, and then also some tips and some best practices that you can utilize as it relates to GSA schedules. So, Jane, if you want to take it away from here, and we will go to our second part of this training. Jane? All right, and Jane may have stepped away real quick while we're waiting for Jane. If you
I'm
want to,
here.
here she is.
My apologies.
That's okay. I know you have
No,
some things kind of going on in the background, so
yeah,
okay.
I have a contractor here fixing my house. So, okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Can you make it full screen though?
Yes.
Presentation. There we
Okay.
go.
How's that?
Right,
Good?
awesome.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, thank you, um, Shonda.
Yes.
Okay. So, GSA schedules and where to get started with them. Okay, so exactly what is GSA MAS? General Services Administration Multiple Award Schedule. It is an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract. They are awarded in 5-year periods, and you can maintain this contract for up to 20 years. They do require market research, commitment, and effort to be successful. So, does my business really need to be on schedule? Maybe. Has a buyer ever asked if you're on a schedule? Does the competition have a schedule? Does the government buy what you offer through GSA multiple award schedules? It's important that you do the research to find out how your target customer does their purchasing. Is it through GSA schedules or is it through open competition? You have to get that information in order to make a good decision on whether or not to go for a GSA multiple award schedule. It's imperative that you have a good, strong commercial market. Government contracting will not save a company that is struggling. And can you sell a minimum of $25,000 annually off of your schedule? If you do decide to become a multiple award schedule contract owner, you will be able to participate in a very streamlined method of acquisition. Your company and pricing are pre-approved. Oftentimes, you'll be paid very quickly with a credit card, and it can limit the competition. It can provide a company with increased visibility, and because your company and your pricing structure have already been vetted, essentially, it provides a level of credibility that contracting officers definitely appreciate. It gives you access to GSA eBuy. Sometimes buyers will put out, it's called an eBuy notice, just for the schedule holders of a particular SIN. And you can respond to those just like you respond to any other request for quote or request for proposal. GSA Advantage, like Kimberly had mentioned earlier, it truly is the Amazon.com for the government world. It's the online shopping site for any government buyer. They can go in, fill up their little shopping cart, just like we do on Amazon, pay with a credit card, check out, and they're done. If it is above the micro purchase threshold of $10,000, they simply need to look at 3 companies' offerings and then make a decision. So Some more considerations. You have to do that market research. It is imperative to have a good understanding of how your target client does their buying. You have to develop a marketing and sales strategy. You cannot just sit back and wait for all of the orders to come in. You have to have a plan on how you're going to reach out to your customers and capture those sales. You need to know who your competition is. If your competition is selling on GSA, that's probably a good indication that you might want to consider also getting a GSA multiple award schedule. Whoop. Sorry. You have to be a responsible and responsive company. In business, pretty much a minimum of 2 years. There are a few exceptions, but those are pretty rare. Past performance is absolutely imperative, not only with the multiple award schedules, but also with government contracting in general. A contracting officer has to know that you are able to provide what they need, that you have done it before, and that you have done it successfully. It doesn't end with just getting the multiple award schedule. You have to maintain compliance with all the terms and conditions of your schedule. It's very important that the products that are offered are trade agreement compliant. They don't have to be made, well, it's best if they are made in the United States. But Trade Agreement Act allows for products to also be purchased in Taiwan, Canada, Mexico, and other countries. Something that's important to remember is on your GSA multiple award schedule, you need to be offering the federal buyer as good or better pricing than you offer your most favored customer. You will not be able to offer any commercial customer better pricing than you're offering your GSA government buyer. So a few other requirements to consider. There is a minimum sales requirement. I think on my other slide, the old requirement was listed. My apologies. But the new requirement is in the base period, the first 5 years of the life of the contract, you have to have a minimum of $100,000 in reported sales. And then subsequent years, it's 100, or subsequent terms, it's 125,000. If a company fails to meet these requirements, your contracting officer can decline the next option period. So it's really important that you have the marketing and sales force to meet that minimum requirement. Applying for a GSA schedule, it can be very time consuming. 6 to 12 months is not unusual. And that includes the time that a company needs to dedicate to preparing all of your documents and getting it uploaded. And then for the contracting officer assigned to your schedule to make the approvals. Since it is a long-term contract, you can't keep your pricing and you can't keep your pricing static. Over that 5-year period, most companies need to make pricing increases. The GSA MAS has, it's called an EPA, an economic price adjustment. It's a mechanism for a company to increase the pricing as well as add or delete products or services. And then there's also the quarterly reporting. On a quarterly basis, a company is required to report only their GSA sales and remit back to GSA the industrial funding fee. I'll get into that more in a couple minutes. So you have to remember having a GSA schedule is a marketing tool. There are absolutely no sale guarantees. And you have to actively market your schedule to federal buyers. I always like to compare it to a hunting license. You can get your hunting license and you have a couple options. You can sit on your deck and wait for the deer to come in your yard, or you can go tramping out in the woods. Which way are you going to be more successful? So, ready, set, go. Let's get this party started. The place you want to go first is the roadmap, the GSA roadmap. It has a wonderful step-by-step layout of getting you your GSA multiple award schedule. So the first step is you have to understand what you're getting into. There are a couple of trainings that are required as part of the process. Pathways to Success is an online webinar that takes you through the whole process of what a GSA schedule is, how to go about utilizing it. It's a really good training. The readiness assessment is a process that takes you through doing the research, seeing figuring out what categories apply to your company, who your competition is, and how much activity is on that particular schedule. It's not rocket science. It's not Schrodinger's equation, but it's more tedious and detail oriented than actually difficult. It is no more difficult to complete and submit than any other government contract. It's just a wee bit bigger. I think that Kimberly already touched on the schedule sales query. This is one of the components that make up the readiness assessment. In this website, you can find who your competition is, what companies are on schedule, how much is being purchased on that particular, for that particular SIN. And this will help you to decide if this is going to be a viable purchasing mechanism for your company or sales mechanism for your company. GSA eLibrary. This is where another website where you can quickly and easily locate the companies that are currently on schedule and what they're offering. Anybody can utilize this website. It's all public information, and it's a really good website to get your feet wet and get some basic information. Okay, so Here is the GSA roadmap. The first part is just an overview. Then it goes into the README stuff. You have to read the entire solicitation and read it again. Yes, it is not, a brilliant novel that will keep you entertained and on focus, but you have to read it. You need to understand what your offer has to include, the evaluation criteria, the terms and conditions. You're going to be held to the terms and conditions for the life of the contract, maybe 20 years. You want to know what you're getting into. And also, very important, the instructions are in the solicitation. Several years ago, I was working with a company and they got their schedule awarded and everything was going along fine. And I can't remember now exactly what the issue was, but they asked me about it and I told them, well, it's in the solicitation. And she looked at me and said, well, I didn't know I had to read it. Well, of course you have to read the solicitation. So please don't do that. Don't be a repeat of that one. So this link is not going to take you to the current solicitation, but if you do use the link, there'll be another link that will take you to the most recent one. So once you get to where the solicitation is posted on sam.gov, you'll be able to download the solicitation. Attachments 2 to 13 are category specific attachments. It's one solicitation, and then you identify the categories where your product or service fits, and then you only need to download what is relevant to your company. Attachment number 14 are the regulations. Those are the FAR clauses, the Federal Acquisition Regulations that Kimberly talked about previously. And then attachment 15 is the available offerings. The way it is all set up is first, there is the large category. In the example, it is the security and protection. There's a lot of things that can encompass and be included in security and protection. So then it is, then there are the subcategories. In the example, I have security services, and then the SIN and the SIN title. So the available offerings document is a very large spreadsheet and that you can go through and identify your large category, whether it be IT, furnishings, security and protection, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can drill down to the specific product or service that you want to offer. Okay, so you're going to need to make sure that you're registered at SAM. You have to have your cage code and your UEI, your unique entity identifier. You need to register at eOffer and obtain the FAS ID. And you need to make sure that you identify your authorized negotiators. The authorized negotiators are the only folks that, The authorized negotiators are the only folks that your GSA contract or contracting officer will communicate with. And you need to have more than one authorized negotiator. I mean, if you're laying on the beach in Tahiti and the contracting officer is trying to reach you and obviously can't, you have to have an alternate. Okay, sorry about that little glitch. So SAM, the System for Award Management, if you need help completing that, contact your local Apex. The FAST ID, if you've been around the block a while, you used to have a digital certificate to pursue a GSA schedule. That has been replaced by the FAST ID. The digital certificate, it could still be required for other purposes. Apologies for that little typo there. Okay, the FAST ID is a centralized identity management system, and it is required to access the GSA eOffer, eMod, and other GSA systems. There is a very good detailed user guide that I always encourage folks to bookmark and have on hand in case you have any trouble with that. The folks that are going to be the authorized negotiators and having the FAST ID, the person has to be registered as a point of contact in SAM, the government business point of contact, electronic POC, as well as the past performance POC. Okay, so on the GSA roadmap, there's a section where all the templates and information required for eOffer, they're all posted and available. And that will include project experience narratives. No, excuse me, I got distracted. There's a requirement for project experience if you are offering services. This is who the project was for, a synopsis of the project, the pricing, what was included, did you run into any problems, and how were those problems resolved? Quality control is very important in the government space. You will be required to submit your quality control plan and your pricing proposal. I gotta say, in my opinion, the pricing proposal is probably the hardest part of the whole GSA multiple award schedule process. It's a giant spreadsheet, and on it you list what you're offering and all the descriptions, your most favorite customer, and the most favorite customer can be specific customers or it can be categories of customer or all customers. And then your catalog pricing, the pricing your most favorite customer get, the discount your most favorite customer receives, and then what your government GSA discount will be. Okay, so the templates that are available, the price proposal template, that is absolutely required for all offers. The agent authorization letter, is only required if you are utilizing a consultant to prepare your proposal. If you want to hire a consultant, their fees are generally $10,000 and up. You don't need to hire a consultant. Your local Apex office can help you with it. We can't write anything for you, but we can go through the process step by step, review documents, help you submit everything. But it's totally your choice. Just know that you do not need a consultant. And I also encourage you to be a bit careful when you get those letters from consultant and emails from consultants stating that they can get you on schedule and you'll make a gajillion dollars. Past performance is very important. If you've not had a government contract, or if you've not had a government contract, there are questionnaires that you can send to your customers. If you have had government contracts, then you will have a contractor performance assessment in the CPARS system. So for the past performance, projects need to be completed within the last 3 years and 3 distinct contracts that are similar in size and scope to what you're offering. The letter of supply, that is a template that you need if you are offering products and you are not the manufacturer. You have to have a letter of supply from all of the manufacturers of the products that you're offering. It's their commitment to you that they will provide you with the material or the product for the life of your GSA schedule. More templates, the commercial sales practice. This is there are some documents that you're going to submit directly, or you're going to upload them into the eOffer system. Some information you're going to upload a document. Some information is entered right in the system. So the commercial sales practice template, you're actually going to fill it out on the eOffer, but I'm old school. I'm old. I like to have the document prepared so I know what to put in to the eOffer. The commercial sales practice identifies your most favorite customer and discounts and shipping terms, as well as the projected sales. If you're other than small business, you will need a subcontracting plan. Okay, so here are the category specific attachments. They might include additional certification, industry certifications that are required. It could be any number of things. And these are the different categories, the large categories that are in GSA. So once you've done all your research and you've completed your price proposal template, you have your letter of supply, and you're ready to go. Well, you're also going to need to compile some additional information. You're going to need 2 years financial statements, the subcontracting plan if you're a large business, The technical proposal. The technical proposal is your past performance narratives and other information about your company. If you're offering professional services, you have to include your professional compensation plan. If you have previously applied for a GSA schedule and you were rejected, you need to include a copy of that rejection letter. The commercial sales practice format that I just talked about. Commercial price list. If generally, well, it can be both product and services. If you have a commercial price list that identifies your pricing structure to anybody who would call, you have to include that with your documentation. That provides the documentation required for evaluating the discount that you're offering to the GSA customer. Pricing support documentation, that would be invoices, contracts, anything that can show that you have received the pricing that you're offering, or that you say that you are offering. Sometimes the price narrative is required if for some reason you're not offering the government a better price, and the narrative can also include why your pricing is set the way you have it. Okay, so the price proposal template, a little more detail on that giant Excel sheet. There are two different ones. One is for products, one is for services. I mentioned the industrial funding fee. The industrial funding fee is 0.75% of your listed price that is added on top of your price. So if you're offering something that's $100, your GSA price will be $100.75. That's the fee that you have to report and send to GSA on a quarterly basis. That's the fee for the privilege of having a GSA schedule. So essentially, your customer is paying that fee. It's not going to eat into your profit. So there are three SINs that have their own specific proposal pricing template: the security, travel, and transportation and logistics. All the other ones you utilize either the product or the services and training. So here's a little more detail about the information. Financial statements for 2-year period. Your technical proposal, there's a really good outline for that in the solicitation document. So I encourage you to utilize that, follow that outline. And again, I like to write all this out or type this all out, because then you can just copy and paste it in the e-offer system rather than having to upload it. Okay, I believe we talked about all of these other items. Here's the outline for the technical proposal: corporate experience, past performance, quality control, and relevant project experience for services. Here's information about the pricing narrative. I'm going to go through these a little bit quickly because I'm running out of time. So before you hit that submit button, you always, always, always have to check to see if there are any recent updates. They're called a refresh. The current refresh is number 31, or it's number 30. Refresh 31 is scheduled to be released sometime in April. GSA Interact is such a good website. I encourage you to frequent this website because that's where all the latest information about changes and anything GSA schedule related will be available there. They also have a feature where you can ask questions, talk to other companies that might be having similar problems. And they also have a monthly webinar, online or web meeting that is the third Thursday of every month. I go to this website frequently to get the latest information, and I highly encourage you to utilize this tool. Okay, so finalize and submit your offer. Complete all the steps in e-offer. It's really similar to SAM, where it'll give you little check marks of completed sections, and then you could go on to the next section. If you don't have to finish it all in one sitting, it will keep your information in there, and you can always go back and finish it in the future if necessary. Okay, so the last time I was in e-offer, this is what it looked like. So on the left, you can see where you get the little, well, I guess they don't give you check marks. They just fill in the section, the circle of the sections that are completed. It's really not that hard. E-offer is where you're going to register for an account so you can upload your offer. You can submit your modifications in here. Modifications are either mass modifications that GSA releases, and those are changes to terms and conditions or other elements of the solicitation, and all of the contract holders need to accept that modification. Then there are the company initiated modifications. Those are your price adjustments, adding items, deleting items, changing points of contact, updating addresses, and if the company moves, things like that. And then that quarterly reporting, that's also done through the e-offer eMod website. There's lots of good information on this website as well. The prepare an offer, good info in there. There is so much information that is out there that will help you if you just look around a little bit. And of course, you can always call your local Apex office. So once you submit it, then what happens? You will be assigned a contracting officer, and that contracting officer will make a determination if you are a responsible, responsive company. They'll review all of your documents and determine if you're offering the government your best price. They may ask you for clarification on different elements. Maybe you forgot some information or you need to correct an error. And it's important to know that you have to respond in a timely manner. They give you a rather limited time frame to respond. And if you don't respond, you're going to end up being either rejected or put on the bottom of the list, and you don't want that to happen. That's why it is so important that you have more than one authorized negotiator, because you don't want to interrupt the timeline. So once your contracting officer is happy and you go through your final negotiation, then you will get your welcome letter. And at that point, you register with the vendor support center, you upload your price list into eLibrary and GSA Advantage, and then you can hit the road marketing your schedule. You can use the GSA logo on everything and anything that comes out of your office. You cannot alter the logo at all, other than by putting your contract number on it, on the logo. You want to put it on your business cards, on your website, on your signature line of your email. You never know where those documents are going to end up. So you want to make sure that you get the word out. The GSA forecast, that is a very good place to obtain what purchases are upcoming. And again, don't forget you have the quarterly reporting, and the modifications that will be required. So if you offer medical supplies and equipment, that is a different system, and that is covered by the VA. Here's the website for the VA federal supply schedules and the different product and service categories that are included in the VA federal supply schedule. The process of obtaining a schedule is very similar to the regular GSA MAS process. So the Vendor Support Center, I mentioned that earlier. There's a lot of good information in here. Again, I encourage you to utilize it. So some final thoughts. Always make sure that you're working with the most current refresh. Obtaining and having a GSA MAS is a process. It is not an event. It takes time. There is no guarantee of any sales. And please don't argue with your contracting officer. I was on a final negotiation call with one of my clients, and he was being rather difficult. Don't argue. That will not help the cause. Make sure that you educate your sales team. Remember, you cannot offer a federal or a commercial customer better pricing than you're offering on your GSA. Market, and market some more. Get that GSA information out there. Oh, your capability statement, make sure your capability statement has your GSA logo and contract number on it. And remember, there is help out here. You can contact your local APEX. You can contact the GSA OSDBU office. You can contact the SBA, MBAC. We are all here to help make you successful. Okay, that's what I have for you. Are there any questions, comments, concerns?
We do have some questions. Thank you so much, Jane. And I do love that comment that you made that getting on a GSA schedule is a process. It is a process. So
Yes, it
thank
is
you
a
for that
process.
information. We do have a couple of questions in here. I think this is a great question. Justin wants to know, how can a startup company prove past performance, or what would you recommend for a startup company as it relates to past performance?
Well, if you're a startup company and you have no sales, now your past performance does not necessarily have to be federal government sales. It can be state, local, commercial, it can be any other sales. If you have absolutely nothing in the way of sales, I would hold off getting a GSA schedule. You know, the most important thing that your contracting officer is looking for is risk mitigation. They don't want the risk, and so it's important that you are a proven business, that you can provide what they need, that you have provided it successfully previously. Personally, I think it's best to wait and get your commercial business going, get it strong, work with your SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, SCORE, MBAC, SBA. It is so important to have that really good foundation before you go after a GSA schedule.
I would agree. And if you don't have any federal sales, if you're kind of new to the federal market, you may want to wait as far as doing business in that sector and maybe go after getting past performance with the state government, a city government, a county government, even private sector, but gaining that past performance again, it doesn't have to be in the federal level.
Right.
Federal government is just a little more, it's a little more involved and it can take a little bit more time. If
Mm-hmm.
you're able to gain past performance as a subcontractor, that still is past performance. So you may want to focus
Absolutely.
becoming a sub. So that's a
Absolutely.
great answer.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, a GSA schedule is not the only way that government agencies do their purchasing. It is one way. There are, the open competition where they're posted on SAM and anybody can submit a proposal for those in response to those solicitation. It's not a one size fits all. A GSA multiple award schedule is just one way of purchasing.
Great. Thank you for bringing that out. And I think this is the last question, and then we'll close out with a couple reminders. Um, well, two real quick. We'll go over those acronyms, but this particular participant submitted a GSA mass application in December. Will they be required to resubmit under this new refresh?
Hmm. Well, they may need to at least acknowledge the changes. I don't think they'll have to, I don't think that you have to do a whole brand new submission. You'll just have to accept the modification.
Okay. And as far as the acronyms, Carl, SCORE is what is SCORE?
Oh,
The
the Service Corps of Retired Executives. They're an
Yes,
arm of the SBA. And if you go to the
correct.
SBA website, you can find that information. MBAC is the Minority Business Assistance Center.
SBDC.
SBDC is the Small Business Development Center.
And SBA is Small Business Administration. Essentially, SCORE and SBDC are resource partners that can assist you and the MBAC with any type of assistance that you need as it relates to your business. If it's starting a business, if it's growing a business, anything with marketing your business, your sales, anything related to your business, getting started, growing, expanding, getting assistance with your financial statements. Those are resource partners to help with that. We are the SBA and we provide funding to both the SBDC and SCORE to help them do that. And the others, I don't know what MVAT is, but I
I
think you
think
were
he was
thinking of
trying
MBAC.
to, I think that's what he
MBAC.
was trying to get at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Minority Business Assistance Center is also another great resource to assist with you as it relates to helping with your business. Also, if you're looking to get state or local certifications, they can assist, and there are MBACs all around the state of Ohio. We'll take this last question and then we'll wrap up. Do you recommend or do you have recommendations for a manufacturer to find state and local buyers for the same equipment they will be selling through GSA?
Well, no, I don't know. um, the state of Ohio has what's called state term schedules. But as far as I know, they are not accepting any new vendors into that program. I think
You have to be
that
invited, I think, in order to participate with the state term.
yes, but I don't think they're inviting new companies. In order to be invited, you have to have a minimum amount of sales to a state agency, and the the agency that is going to invite you has to guarantee a certain amount of sales.
Yeah.
I I am that program is I'm not quite sure what the status of that program is.
And I can recommend, we actually did a webinar on our first day on March 4th. If you go back to the Ohio Business Matchmaker website, at the top tab, the webinar tab, and then look for the Doing Business with the State of Ohio, March 4th, 1 o'clock. If you look for that webinar, James Yagodich actually was the presenter for that webinar. And so the recording should be there. I don't know if the slides are there yet, but definitely the recording is there. So you can look on how to do business with the state. And then in that presentation, he does, I think, answer some questions about the state term schedule. So you can follow up with James or someone on his team to get more information about that. And with that, I do want to thank so much Jane Stewart with the Ohio Apex Accelerator at Ohio University and Kimberly Hutchinson from GSA Region 5 for sharing such great information on how to do business with GSA and how to get on a GSA schedule. This concludes today's webinar. So again, if you haven't registered for the Ohio Business Matchmaker, which will take place next well, in 2 weeks on April 22nd and April 23rd at the Wright State University Nutter Center in Dayton, Ohio, Fairborn, Ohio. Please register for that. I believe registration is open for another week. And if you go to the Ohio Business Matchmaker website, you can register for that. Also, there are one more now webinar. Two more webinars we have next week, we have a webinar this afternoon on cybersecurity, giving an overview and an update about that. And then next week, our final webinars in the morning, one on joint ventures and teaming from 10 to 12, and then from 1 to 3, a webinar on the SBA and DoD mentor protege programs, and then a panel discussion for the mentor protege. We'll also have a panel discussion for the joint venture in the morning. So definitely register for those. Those are always great. We will have, small businesses giving their perspective. And then we hope to see you at the Matchmaker on the 22nd and 23rd in Dayton, Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day. Thank you so much to our presenters, and we look forward to seeing you again. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Shonda.
Bye-bye.
Bye.